So I want to go over some of the darkest files in the Epstein files. I'm just reading this list that this lady, Maddie, Books Behind Borders had made. And let's go, because war crimes isn't going to cover up the sex crimes. The allegations, the accusations are wild. The allegations are wild. Anybody can make an allegation, but why would anybody make an allegation to the FBI? And then some of the allegations, you know, when it comes to Papa Bush, I don't know. But when it comes to Robin Leach, I kind of believe it. Who the hell is this Robin Leach? He's hanging out with the, you know, the lifestyles of the rich and famous back in the 80s and 90s. He had his own little show, you know, late night TV. So, disturbing emails and communications. You got a torture video email. An email of Epstein telling a redacted name that he loved the torture video. The name was eventually unredacted, and it was Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem. So, hey, love that torture video. What torture video? Epstein sent you a torture video? And you're like, hey, man, I really like that torture. Was it something he was doing? Was it a personal torture video? Or just like a generic one? Just like somebody was just... The littlest girl email, an email to Epstein casually reads, thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. The perpetrator's name is, of course, hidden. An email to Epstein. Thank you for a fun night. Oh, the littlest girl, a little naughty. Ha ha. Ah ha ha ha. Ah ha ha ha. And then it's got links. So booksbehindborders.org. Yes, I'm over 18. And then that's like the whole thing. It was sent from an iPhone. March 11th, 2014. 7:02 a.m. Tuesday. Thank you for a fun night. That's the whole damn thing. It's the whole damn thing. 10-year-old email. Email of a perpetrator inquiring about 10-year-old with an image attached. The image is hidden. So what's up with that 10-year-old, age 10? And then they said that there's an image that's hidden. I don't see where the image or where it was hidden from. But it was sent to Epstein, and they're not saying who it was from. So were they inquiring about a 10-year-old? Or were they saying, hey, here's a 10-year-old. Should we capture this 10-year-old and then send him? And then is there an email thread? I mean, people just send, oh, it says JPEG. DSCO6964.jpg. DSC06964.jpg. Age 10. And they had a JPEG that was attached to it. So I don't know if that's inquiring about a 16-year-old or if that's trying to sell a 16-year-old. Party with a dozen 1-year-olds. Email regarding party with a dozen 1-year-olds and talking about what makes babies suck better. These were between Mark Tramo, a UCL professor, John Brockman, a literary agent, and Epstein. Party with a dozen 1-year-olds, and then we know everybody. So John Brockman, Mark Tramo, Tramo, a UCLA professor, John Brockman, a literary agent, and Epstein. Short. It's a short little message from John Brockman to Epstein. And it says save the date.jpg. So apparently there's an attachment on this too. You well? And then the response is from John Brockman, better than well. Things are going well. But no, Jeffrey, when am I going to see you? Give me a call tomorrow if you're bored at home. Redacted. And John Brockman, his email is redacted. And then it says, Happy Hanukkah. Looks like it's misspelled. Isn't there two N's in Hanukkah? then JB, and then it says John Brockman, P.S. You missed the big event on Saturday. A party with a dozen beautiful East Side girls. Well, a dozen 1-year-olds. You missed the big event on Saturday, a party with a dozen beautiful East Side girls. Well, a dozen 1-year-olds, exclamation point, exclamation point. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. What are you talking about? Is there some plausible deniability to this? Epstein says to Brockman, hey, you well? Oh, yeah, better than well. Things are going well. But no, not really. I haven't seen you for a while, so, give me a call if you're bored. Oh, man, you missed the big event on Saturday, says John Brockman to Epstein. A party with a dozen beautiful East Side girls, open parentheses, well, a dozen 1-year-olds. Exclamation point, close parentheses. John Brockman, you got some splaining to do. And then your littlest girl was a little naughty. Why would the perpetrator from be redacted? Why is the perpetrator redacted on this file? This is EFTA 019305001. Also, age 10, redacted. Who the hell is this son of a bitch? Who the hell is this son of a bitch? Age 10. In some image. Why are you sending a picture of a 10-year-old to Epstein? Why are you talking about the littlest girl was a little naughty? Oh, boy. You missed the big event on Saturday, a party with a dozen beautiful East Side girls. A dozen 1-year-olds. Exclamation point. Beautiful? Beautiful. Commodifying infants, straining emails regarding babies, birth babies for black market use. Emails regarding babies and their ages to Epstein. Original post was deleted, so can someone find the original justice files? Offering to buy a baby. Series of emails regarding babies and buying blankets. Sent an email about the youngest child to give birth. I don't want to open up any of these, frankly, but let's see what's on here. So, subject, external email. Woman who accused John of God, cult leader, of rape mysteriously kills herself at Spanish home. Importance normal. Redacted spoke of this going on at Zorro Ranch. She has said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this, birth babies for black market use. Thank you for investigating this. Babies warning, content is disturbing. This is a Reddit post, and you still have all the replies, but the post was deleted by the person that originally posted it 3 months ago. From redacted to Jeffrey Epstein. Again, why are we redacting? Anybody that sent Jeffrey Epstein an email, just let us know who the hell these people were. Maybe it's innocent. I know Chomsky was a part of this thing, but he's this big financier having parties. And it was like an intellectual salon, so he just wanted to have like celebrities, right? He just wanted to get these big rich people to come to his house. Chomsky was married. So it's interesting how the intellectual titan on the left gets, canceled outright. Meanwhile, the Epstein billionaire class, well, they're still billionairing and Epsteining, There were quite a few things that were known parts of our lives, but we never discussed in writing. I can't convince you of what you said, but your interpretation of past events and emails is different from mine. While they might not confirm the existence of your promise, they certainly don't disprove it. Maybe you forgot, maybe you didn't mean it, but it doesn't change the fact I lived for years under the impression that my future was safe. I can't go back 10 years and change my decisions. I don't know what to do with that information now. When I met you, I wouldn't accept any money from you. You used to sneak $100 bills into my fake Louis Vuitton purse. As time passed, you made me believe it was okay to accept it, expect it, and be able to feel safe. It was not my idea. I don't know who sent this. To Epstein, 2013. It was very uncomfortable for me, and I would never come up with such a deal or ever ask you for money. It was only after years of you making all kinds of voluntary promises and commitments that I started to believe it was okay and I could rely on your support. You made many unusual offers. You offered to buy my baby 6 months into our relationship, and 6 years later, you offered to support my next boyfriend. Do you remember that? It's probably not in any emails either, and I understand nobody would believe it. From Epstein to Redacted. And I agree and have supported you for years because however you see no, none, zero, anything that supports your contention that I was doing this as part of an agreement. Well, we disagree. It may not have been cooking and filing your nails, but I did more than anyone else you would ever do for you in the same situation. Design school was not about design, but about drafting. Again, yes, things you asked. These are just like some whole list of email chain here. I have no idea what I'm reading. I have no idea what this is. Awful lot of documents referring to babies and buying blankets. You know, there was somebody was saying not only are they trafficking children, raping children, but they're eating the babies. I haven't come across any emails or articles that was talking about eating the babies. There was one where they drowned. There was a 12-year-old from New Mexico, and they drowned her in her baby. So the 12-year-old's baby, a 12-year-old had a baby, and then they drowned that baby in Lake Michigan. And they said Donald was there. And maybe even Epstein. Katie Johnson specifically said Donald and Epstein were fighting over who was going to take her virginity. Katie Johnson also said that Donald liked her in a blonde wig because it reminded him of his daughter. I feel like they were forcing women to be surrogates illegally for other people to have babies. God knows what they were doing with them. Screenshots from the files. Dear Jeffrey, it took me about 2 months to answer your simple question as to whether I am fine. Please excuse the pathetic delay. I was simply in tumultuous knots over what to do and didn't know what to answer. I am well, thank you. I decided to keep the baby. I'm having a baby girl due on Christmas. I feel very good about it, and I'm very excited. It was a gradual process. I was always a bit ambivalent about having children. In the end, though, I have a wonderful friendship with Redacted, and I love him very much. I also have enough stability with him as well to feel confident about raising a child. I think about you often, and I'm so glad that you will be out soon. I think this month. No, I will be in the U.S. at the end of July, and I'm going to Sardinia for a couple weeks and then to Greece. I'll be back at the end of August. Below is a sonogram of Redacted, the baby's name. It was taken at 16 weeks. Let me know if I could do anything. I send a big hug. XOXOXO. So from Redacted to Epstein. Demilked. That's where this is from. From Terry Kafka to Jeffrey Edwards. Epstein, I guess that's his middle name. Edwards. Go directly to photo 9, Terry. And then demilked. What is photo number 9, huh? This is on justice.gov. The youngest mother, Lena Medina, born September 23rd, 1933, was the youngest woman ever to give birth. She did so when she was just 5 years old. Turns out Lena was born with a rare condition called precocious puberty, a condition where sexual development happens at an early age. Lena gave birth on May 14th, 1939, via cesarean section, since her pelvis was too small. The child, named Geraldo, was born completely healthy, but the father was never found out. Holy fucking shit. So this guy is bragging to Epstein that he found some, news that there was possibility of a 6-year-old having a child. Man, I'm going to have to fucking take a bath in turpentine after this. It says burst of joy behind the counter. It looks like it says demilked. So I feel like it's something about ordinary photos with amazing backstories. So this just photographs with the backstories. I don't even see the photographs in this. But Terry Kafka is like, hey, Epstein, did you know something? I just found this out. Interesting little tidbit, interesting little fact. But a 6-year-old actually had a child, Terry Kafka, just I guess FYI. Why are you even mentioning anything like that? And why to Epstein? From John Brockman. Again, to Epstein. Oh, we already read this one. What else is going on? Let's see, what else? 2 FBI agents killed who were investigating Epstein and a SEAL Team 6 commander. So 2 FBI agents were killed who were investigating Epstein. I just heard about this one woman who had testified. She was a mother of 5. Then they said that she had killed herself, suicided in her hotel. It's fucking dirty. It's fucking dirty. Do you believe that? A mother of 5 comes to D.C. to testify. While she's staying in her hotel, she decides to suicide herself? Come on, man. Ken Turner was part of a task force investigating the sex trafficking of minors involving Jeffrey Epstein from 2000 to 2017. As his investigation unfolded, it implicated Epstein, Richard Marcinko, SEAL Team 6 commander, Earl Anthony Wayne, U.S. ambassador, and other U.S. officials. He was being heavily surveilled, faced interference, and multiple people were killed. That's interesting. I mean, I feel like what in the hell are you talking about? What is this? What is this? Ken Turner? Did Ken Turner turn out? I dedicated an entire article to Ken Turner's emails detailing his investigation and subsequent interference from the intelligence agencies, and you can read about it right here. So we can read about the whole thing right there. It's posted April 6th, Books Behind Borders. Maddie, 2 FBI agents killed in Mexico investigating Epstein and SEAL Team 6 Commander Richard Marcinko. How is this Epstein file not front page news? So 2 FBI agents were killed who were investigating Epstein and a SEAL Team 6 commander, Richard Marcinko, and then Earl Anthony Wayne. Anthony Wayne, like Mad Anthony Wayne. Fort Wayne, Indiana, was originally Kikionga. It was a town of the Miami people. And then Mad Anthony Wayne came in, killed them all, put Fort Wayne there, and there's Fort Wayne, Indiana still today. Like population 250,000 or so. So 2 FBI agents were killed. 2 FBI agents were investigating Epstein. They start to get close to this Richard Marcinko, who's a SEAL Team 6 commander and a U.S. ambassador, Earl Anthony Wayne. Well, Richard Marcinko knows how to shoot a gun. So how were the 2 FBI agents killed? I mean, they put all that shit on Leonard Peltier and said, like murdering an FBI agent is the crime to end all crimes. So the fact that 2 FBI agents were killed, you would think this would be, more people would be paying attention to this. Ken Turner, was Ken Turner killed? Was he one of the FBI agents? Who were the 2 FBI agents killed? What is the story? I mean, I guess that's a whole nother article. FBI evidence, the logistics of a nightmare. The snuff photo, the FBI explicitly references a photo showing men holding a prepubescent girl's legs open with her vagina gassed and blood gushing out. Motherfuckers, man. These motherfuckers. Fuck. God, I'm so fucking mad. Susan girl, as young as 5, girl who was trafficked to and sexually assaulted by Epstein and others beginning when she was 5 years old. When she's sought therapy, the network allegedly sent those exact photos to her phone, threatening this is what will happen to you if you talk. She sent evidence of those texts and intimidation, but nothing was done. Holy fucking shit, man. So the snuff photo, the baby hair iMessages, a PDF of text screenshots shows handlers casually debating if a victim can get a bikini wax because her hair is too short. She is explicitly described in the text as having baby hair. The same logs coordinate moving a child from a salon to the house, equipped with an iPad portfolio for what handlers explicitly call a Pornhub introduction. Man, this is like overwhelming. This is too much. But I would think, like, you would like to think that somebody's like parsing it out. When they released the Martin Luther King files and the JFK files, why didn't they kind of say, well, here's the reasons why they didn't release them for this. This is why, this is the files. Here are the real controversial. Here are the sensitive files. Here's what we think was going on. Like, nobody really, they just said, here's a bunch of files. Do we know who killed JFK? Do we know who killed Martin Luther King? They released both of these files, and when they came out, I glanced at them, but man, I'm busy. So, is there anybody like going through these files to try to find who the real killer is? Martin Luther King is one of the greatest men to have ever walked the damn planet. JFK was pretty good, relatively speaking. He's only in there for 2 years, so he never actually got to implement his full plan. So you can actually say he's like conservative on some things, liberal on some others, so it's kind of hard to see where he actually... But they just kind of release all these files and say, all right, you read them all. What am I reading? What is this? And then, a lot of these are hair-raising, mind-numbing allegations. Tell us why you think that they weren't corroborated, or was there, a subsequent investigation? Did you ask anybody? Did you come to a dead end? Did you go to the person and then something had happened? They talked real well. You searched the place and there was nothing there. Where did the investigation go of these accusations? Investigators scanned 4 pages of a child's personal journal. This is the Nightmare Journal. These pages describe in the first person some of the most disturbing acts imaginable. It's alleged that Epstein kept girls locked away, got them pregnant, then raised the babies. Jesus fucking Christ. Is it possible that there's a bunch of Epsteins running around? Is it a possibility that you have a bunch of, like, progeny, a bunch of children of Epstein? Because that 12-year-old girl from New Mexico, and then they're throwing a baby into Lake Michigan, was on the boat. I mean, that's dark. That's dark. It's fucked up. Super fucked up. There's one allegation where they said that some girl had bit Donald's penis. He hits her, says, "Get this bitch out of here." When he pulled her to him, he says, "Hey, I'm going to teach you how girls are supposed to behave," or some shit. So the Nightmare Journal is saying that there were some of the most disturbing acts imaginable. And in the personal journal of a child, it's alleged that Epstein kept girls locked away, got them pregnant, then raised the babies. Accused found dead. A victim who made rape accusations against Donald and Jeffrey was found with her head blown off. The DOJ never interviewed the witness, and the police determined it was impossible for her to have died by suicide. Federal Bureau of Investigation, unclassified intake. This is 2020. They say that this is when it was received, October 27th, 2020. So that had been after his, that had been right at the end of his term, his first term. So they said it was reported, let's see, around 1997, he made contact with redacted, date of birth, whom he had known 6-7 years. Prior, they had a son together. Redacted, ended up dating, and redacted explained she was having money issues. During the contact in 1997, redacted asked redacted how to spell Ghislaine numerous times. It goes on and on. So there is a file that says what? The accused was found dead. That a victim who made rape accusations were found dead with their head blown off. On Christmas Eve of 1999, or the day prior, redacted was over visiting his son, who he had with redacted years prior. Redacted began talking to redacted as she seemed to be acting strange and asked redacted if he needed a ride home. So there's somebody giving a ride, and then Donald keeps saying Jeffrey over and over again. Made references to abusing some girl. As redacted talked about his time meeting Donald, redacted immediately redacted demeanor when stone cold, as redacted stated he raped me. Redacted said what? As redacted replied, Donald J. Trump had raped her along with Jeffrey Epstein. Redacted noted some girl with a funny name took me into a fancy hotel or building. That's how it happened. Redacted advised redacted to call the police regarding the incident, as redacted stated, I can't. They will kill me on Christmas Day. Redacted contacted redacted, stated she had in fact called the police about what they had talked about. Redacted told redacted she had done good. Redacted did not hear from redacted or redacted until January 10th, 2000. Redacted reached out to redacted, stating redacted was dead, and noted she was found with her head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Kiefer, Kiefer, Oklahoma. Officers on the scene and redacted stated there was no way it was a suicide. Coroner stated it was a suicide. Coroner, not coroner. They spell it coroner. So they don't know how to spell coroner, whoever wrote this report up. Coroner stated it was a suicide. Coroner later stated redacted committed suicide because redacted had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. Redacted feels the murder is a cover for Ghislaine. The last contact with redacted was after redacted posted this information on Facebook a couple of weeks prior. Redacted called redacted, yelling that he had put the family in danger. Redacted explained redacted had a third daughter named redacted, date of birth redacted. During redacted report, he mentioned John Doe number 2 was actually John W. Nichols, date of birth redacted, who tried to originally set redacted up for the bombing in Oklahoma City. Nichols, I remember he was the second guy. Nichols, John Nichols, some guy named Nichols with Timothy McVeigh. Nichols worked security for Bill and Hillary Clinton, as redacted ate at a place where Nicholas worked security at the door. Hillary walked up to redacted drunk and began yelling as they asked redacted to leave and fire Nichols, which led Nichols to attempt to set up redacted for the bombing. End of email. That was a long one. But I just want to get, there's some points of reference, so you can probably Google Kiefer, Oklahoma, find out who this person who's had the head blown off, who the hell that could have been. And then once you find her name, and then see what, how she's connected to any of it. And then something about Nichols. I like this Maddie Books Behind Borders. The blood and injuries extortion. A 2020 letter describes a victim alleging she was violently assaulted in images showing blood injuries in multiple adult men. When she sought therapy, the network allegedly sent those exact photos to her phone, threatening, "This is what happened to you if you talk." She sent evidence of these texts and intimidation, but nothing was done. That's similar to something else that had happened. Abusing girls young as 5, the snuff photo. So they sent evidence of, here's what, some bloody pictures of either one of their former victims or maybe, I don't know, fake images. This is what will happen to you if you talk. It makes me think of somebody had threatened that they're burying people in the golf course. I'm going to say in California. Trump had a golf course, and they said, "We'll just bury you in the back 9 holes like we've done with the others." Tiffany Doe affidavit, a 2016 federal lawsuit included an affidavit from a recruiter, Tiffany Doe, claiming to have procured victims for Donald and Jeffrey. Tiffany Doe withdrew her lawsuit several days before the election after receiving many death threats. Tiffany Doe. It appears that the DOJ took it down, but here it is. Tiffany Doe. Was that the Katie Johnson thing, or is that something else? Is Tiffany Doe Katie Johnson, or is that somebody else? Allegations of extreme depravity, assaults, and murder. My God, how long does this go on for? Am I at the end yet? Yeah, okay. This has been tough. This is tough to stomach. Extreme depravity, assaults, and murder. Iraq veteran William Sasha Riley was an alleged victim who had a first-hand account of child trafficking, torture, rape, and murder conducted within a criminal enterprise run by Donald and Jeffrey over the course of several decades. The Leon Black mutilation files allege that billionaire Leon Black raped a 7-year-old girl, bit her private parts, jammed sharp objects inside of her, and made her bleed. The fuck, man? Leon Black? Who's Leon Black? The Prince Andrew torture allegations. The files contain allegations of the sexual torture of a 6 to 8-year-old child involving Prince Andrew. The dog incident, a specific tip found in the files alleges that a 5-year-old victim was forced to engage in sexual acts with the dog. The Donald Trump witness statement alleges that when a victim bit Donald while resisting oral sex, he punched her in the face. Fertilizer, disturbing tips stating that girls were disappearing and ending up as fertilizer for the golf balls. Burial sites and email claims Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell buried 2 girls after strangulation, and that video proof exists, but it's likely not credible due to him asking for 1 Bitcoin worth $9,000 at the time. Another tip points to bodies being murdered and buried at a facility in Rancho Palos Verdes. 2 girls strangulated during sex buried in Zorro Ranch. These are only alleged, but we do know that Zorro Ranch was never searched or investigated. Maria Framer and her sister, along with other witnesses, have mentioned Zorro Ranch as a place where much of the abuse happened. Keep in mind the DOJ has only released roughly 300 gigabytes of the estimated 15 terabytes. Fucking shit. I'll get into the 2 FBI agents later on, but those are the darkest files according to Maddie. And since I just read them verbatim, right? I feel like you should take each and every allegation, and if you're a serious person, to follow up with it as far as you could possibly follow up with it. Because in a court of law, you got to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And these people know this. What's crazy is that, guy that just got executed in Texas, he was open and he was honest. And he said, that he shot the 2 guys that he had shot. Maybe he was, I don't know, I guess he was bragging. He was trying to be a badass or something. But the real criminals do that kind of shit, only they keep their mouth shut. They're not bragging about it. They're not trying to be a badass. So it's just incredible how if you're rich enough to afford lawyers, it's almost like sometimes our freedoms can be abused to make a person more of an effective criminal. That was a lot. That was a bunch that I just went through. So it's for your information, and they're allegations until they're proven. I take eyewitness accounts very seriously, and videotapes and photographs. Peace, America.